there's a book by a man named Raymond Holmes. Maybe some of you know Raymond Holmes. He wrote a book called Stranger in My Home. He graduated from the Lutheran seminary in, I think, 1971. Then he was called to pastor the Ironwood Lutheran Church in Michigan. I think it was in Chicago area. But he started out, he was a good, faithful pastor. He grew the church from 60 members. In just 16 years, he had the membership up to 1,500 members. In just 16 short years. After this time, his wife, they moved to a nice little community, and his wife befriended a lady. But this lady was a Seventh-day Adventist lady. They would play tennis together. They would visit and hang out a little bit. They began to study their Bibles together. The lady studied with Ray's wife, and one day she came home and she said, "Ray, I've been studying with the lady here, and I'm going to be baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist Church," she told him. Well, you can imagine Pastor Ray in the Lutheran Church, successful Pastor Ray in the Lutheran Church, how this might have upset him, and he got very angry. And one time when they were coming home from church on a Sabbath, he went out there. He just couldn't take it. He blew his fuse, and he went out there and he met the doctor and his wife out there in the car, and he just laid into that doctor, stopped the car in the driveway, cursed him up and down, and accused him of every bad thing in the book, and this really vented out some steam. But the doctor was very patient with him. He says, "I know how you feel, Ray, but if you just give us a chance, see what your wife sees in this church. Study with us." But Ray wasn't about to do that. He was angry. And finally, the doctor got a bright idea. He says, all right, Ray, I'll tell you what I'll do. If you will go to Andrews University and study in the seminary, that's where the Adventist seminary is, I'll pay your tuition. He offered to pay Ray's tuition, Ray Holmes. And so Ray, thinking to maybe get back, maybe get some vengeance, he said, okay, he took him up on it. For whatever reason, he took the doctor up on this. He went to Andrews University and started studying. And what he was doing there, you can imagine, was studying to do what? To prove them wrong. He's studying to prove them wrong. Well, after going through a few quarters, he started wrestling with God. A good, honest-hearted Christian man that he was, he started wrestling with God. He took a little break on I think it was a Christmas break, went down to Florida, prayed and wrestled with God, and just was praying about the things he was learning. These biblical truths that we've been learning. We've been sharing these. He was praying and struggling over these. Finally, he came back and he told his friends who he had made there, "I'm a Seventh-day Adventist now." And he was baptized into the Adventist church. His wrestling was over. And then after he graduated from the seminary, he was invited back to the Ironwood Lutheran Church as a little homecoming event they were having. They wanted to see their old pastor and hear from him because he had left the church there. They wanted to hear how he's doing. And so he gave the homecoming speech there. At the end of his speech, he said these words. He said, "You ought not to study with those Seventh-day Adventist people." He says, "You ought not do it. I wouldn't do it," he says, "because if you do, and you're an honest person, you're biblically honest, you'll have no other choice but to join them." Amen? That's what I did.